Hello there, this is Reece Russell, and you're watching the Weekly Steelchair.
It's my life in the box in front of me. Taking talk in my arms is the soul of me. You walk by, ask to see me late face down.
Well, hello there. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Steelchair, where we're just gonna have fun and laugh at people. Gonna have some fun, and goes for the internet fans. Yeah, them too. I'm going for them all. Because someone's got to. Ugh. Fake outrage. Fucking depressing basement bum licking bastards, man. That's what we're here to deal with tonight. We're here to deal with all of them. True or false, Karrion Kross will eventually get tired and stop carrying that cross. You need to be able to carry something before you can officially say you get tired of it. I like the wordplay. Good one, Glenn. Good one, Glenn. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Because I know, obviously, some people are gonna go, "Oh, come on, be nice. Don't go after them. Don't offend the internet wrestling community." And I was like, well, it's not offending them. It's tearing them apart. It's totally different. And I think it's the right thing to do. I think he's going to GCW. What's happening, Elsie? How are you feeling? If you want to come on tonight, obviously I know I missed you earlier on, and let's all put some love in the chat, of course, for Ailey, of course. If you want to come on and talk about this would be a good laugh. He heard he got pinned on the way out. Nah, I think he got hit by a truck. Well, what do I know? What do I care? I'm just... I get there are genuine Karrion Kross fans out there, right? And Scarlet Bordeaux fans. I'm a fan of both of them. Have you noticed how I'm not losing my shit over it? Like, there's... I'm not going to show it, but I have found layer upon layer upon layer of people who are going after nut screaming for "We Want Kross." What's up, James? So you've signed Jack Rioche and gave him Wayne Rooney's shirt. Brave, brave. If anyone does want to join to discuss this tonight throughout, besides just reviewing Raw, you're more than welcome. But if you've noticed, I'm not one of these fans who are going to go, "Oh, he's not on telly anymore. Let's fake rage." the outrage is so fake, and you know it is. And I'm not going to name names. Like, I'm not going to name names, but there is one account who I no longer bother to support on this channel, who has 5 separate videos about Karrion Kross. He put up a video recording of it, like a long recording, supporting Karrion Kross, and then removed it. Fake outrage. Just saying. You got it. If you want to join anyway, you can. You know, I highly doubt it, Keen. I highly doubt it. And like I say, I'm not naming names. It's not my style. I'm not gonna do it. But I just laugh, you know. Because if you're gonna be behind something or behind someone, why are you deleting it in the first place? Why would you delete the video? To me, that screams fake. That is so fake for me, you know? In a predetermined sport, which is how it is. Predetermined sport and it's fake outrage like that fucks me off. Yep. You know what the funny thing is? I put up a post on it on the community tab and I think I've covered my opinion very clearly. Like, there's a friend of mine who's a Karrion Kross fan, he's a content creator, and he is a huge Kross defender, right? And he actually put up some fair responses to what he would have done with Karrion Kross. And it's actually reasonable. And he's actually in the Karrion Kross documentary. Like, he's been added in. Saying he doesn't need to be an almighty book killer, but you can book him where he's actually not going to be a problem. And they've made him a problem. I think they've just done him what they're doing with Austin Theory, except Austin Theory's injured. They're in the alumni section. They'll be back soon. Watch him randomly end up in some other area for now, and then he's back. It's not that hard. You know, like, it's not that hard, and that's why I laugh at the fake outrage of these. What's the nicest word to say without offending anyone? These mongrels. An old classic puppet show. If you've never seen it before, it used to be on BBC Three. These Kross fake fans remind me of the fox that is trying to get the banana skin and ends up with shit on its face.
This is a niche reference you're going for. That is I will be surprised if anyone gets that.
Probably not. I know you will, because you know BBC Three.
Yeah, the Karrion Kross thing is weird because
good to see you,
basically.
And digging the look. Finally, we get the face paint on stream.
Yeah, I know. I'm back. Everyone can.
What's up, Fernando?
You can all relax. The entertainment is back. I will do that though. I just wanted to prove that I'm as fucked up as I said. But when it comes to the Karrion Kross stuff,
anyway you like, you know the score.
People haven't been given a reason to care about Karrion Kross for 4 years, so I'm actually not surprised that. I mean, especially because you're talking about WWE at the moment. They are sort of. Apologies if my audio isn't quite as good this week, by the way, folks.
Your audio's fine. Your audio's
all
fine.
All right, perfect. Yeah, so the thing is about Karrion Kross, obviously we've not been given a reason to care for 4 years, and in those 4 years, TKO have taken over, and it's become fairly impossible to claim that WWE's main fan base now is not fair weather fans.
That's a good way to put it.
You
Farewell
just have to look
great
at the
way.
reaction Cena's getting versus the reaction that Cody's getting. Cody's obviously the diehard choice, and Cena is the guy from ages ago that everyone likes and remembers, and he's a movie star and everything like that. But if you look at the reactions of that, if you look at the fact that, CM Punk is probably the most popular guy on the show, but also you look at Jey Uso getting really popular because he dances. The level of casual fan in the WWE has generally gone up to the point that I'm not surprised there was no outrage about Karrion Kross, because he was only ever good in terms of his booking in NXT. And the fans that are watching Raw now, it's the same reason why, we're not getting the focus on the people that we're focused on in black and gold. That's why Finn Balor's been, sidelined and has been since he was on the main roster. It's a very different fan base, and Karrion Kross never connected. I know people want to say, oh, he's definitely connected, and there were chants for him and stuff like that, but he has never connected with the mainstream Monday Night Raw audience or Friday Night SmackDown audience in nearly the same way as he did with the NXT more diehard, more appreciative of the craft audience.
Exactly. And it's not only that, it's the fact that if it's such an issue to them now, and this is quite ironic because we were there, if people cared about Karrion Kross so much, and to be fair, we do, because we actually are Kross fans, but we also aren't blind. Well, I'm not yet. But we were there when he was part of Clash at the Castle 3 years ago. We were there. And coincidentally, since then, he has been few and far between. And they pretty much, chose not to progress with him. Now, if whatever the reason is, that's on them, but if he's supposed to be, as they say, an XYZ guy for the creative side, from a favorite perspective, if he is such a favorite, why do they not persist with him? And the plain and simple reason is, was he really a favorite? I don't think so. And I am a Kross fan, but I can also admit that when I look at the reactions, how they pushed him, they gave him the feud with McIntyre, and we were like, okay, this could actually work because McIntyre is a top babyface on SmackDown at the time. And then you've got the element of, well, if Kross is coming back, you're going to push him as a heel. You've got him with Scarlett. You've got the presentation right there. You're then taking him forward. And then we were like, you could get a trilogy of matches out here. You could extend the feud a couple of months, 3-4 months, if anything. You can get longevity out of this. And then you get to Saudi, and then they did, funnily enough, the match stipulation we both said was going to happen. We both said Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre would end up in a steel cage. And it was the second match. That was it. Thanos snapped, the feud was over. And then after that, Karrion Kross wasn't seen for a long time after that. He was just gone. And now he signs up with AOP. That didn't go anywhere. They didn't know what they were doing. They've then extended, well, if we get you talking like you're some sort of messiah complex, we can give you the long hair like Jesus. Let's see what you can do. And it still didn't work, because how do you cater to people when you talk like this? It doesn't actually get you anywhere. It never did. And the one thing that actually was getting him over, to an extent, besides the merch selling, he was at one point a top merch seller, it was the short segments where he was delivering very meaningful lines, a couple of words that stood out, but he was being a haunting presence. And he was being twisted, and he was attacking people, and then all of a sudden it was, we now want you to go up against Sami Zayn. And that was ironic that he says it. That was doomsday from the beginning. Because working with Sami Zayn right now is not going to push you anywhere. You're not going anywhere working with Sami Zayn. And if you're a Sami Zayn fan, don't mind the guy sometimes, but if you are working with Sami Zayn right now, you're actually not going anywhere. You're getting left behind. Because he is going on inevitably to do something that he doesn't really deserve in the first place. And then we're going to end up in a long-winded package where so many people that work with him are left behind. You've already missed the trick with Karrion Kross a long time ago. And funnily enough, it was turning a sand clock upside down that caused his own downfall.
Yeah, I mean, so in terms of... Karrion Kross is in himself to blame for why he didn't get pushed. Certainly leading up to Mania, because you're not telling me that he just cut that promo after Mania without having voiced any of that sort of, any of those concerns. He had to have voiced them before about part-timers. The problem is he got too internet-y about it. Like, TKO, and I'm sorry to keep sidestepping, but TKO had Triple H stood in the Oval Office next to, as Cornette calls him, President Pigshit. And
which was hilarious in itself.
But that places TKO already in a position where they have all the power and they'll decide what's going on.
Correct.
And WWE this year has felt less like it did last year, where it was like, this is a together effort. And this year it's felt like you will enjoy your wrestling, and they've been kind of scooping it out like gruel. And sometimes you get some really tasty gruel, but other times you just get gruel. SummerSlam was tasty gruel. I did actually enjoy it. But, that was the first WWE show I bothered to watch since Money in the Bank, which was awful. But what I'm saying is, TKO are obviously they have that mindset the same way that the Republicans do. Sorry to mirror it with politics. But it's basically like, if you're going to speak out against power, you've got absolutely no chance. And that's what Karrion Kross did. And from the moment he spoke out against power, against the part-timers, against this and that, against not being pushed, he didn't get the... Who was it? Was it Punk? I'm trying to think of the feud now. It was like, you hate it because it's not you. I'm trying to remember that feud now, and the brain fog's kicking in. But you know what I mean? It's like, you don't hate that I'm the main player, you hate that it's not you. You want to be the... Oh! Is it Punk and Cena? You want to be the voice of the voiceless. Because you'll be the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's Triple H to CM Punk in that promo.
Yeah.
It's when he's doing like his contract signing. I remember it now. He was like, you want to do it to suit your needs and benefit you, and we're doing what's best for business. And that's basically the real life situation of what's happened here. Karrion Kross spoke out against TKO, and TKO were like, well, I mean, we're definitely not pushing you now. I mean, you were hardly pushing him before, as you say. I mean, his involvement in WrestleMania previously with AOP involved him. Was it him that went through the table?
He went through the table, yeah.
He went through the table. And, it wasn't exactly a stellar performance. Then, as you say, he got matched up against Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn won. And I've seen a lot of hate for Sami Zayn. It's like, guy was told he's going to win. He's not exactly going to go, ooh, no, that's not going to... Like, Sami Zayn doesn't have the pull of a John Cena, where he can go, hey, I don't think I should win this. Sami Zayn was told, hey, you're winning, because they probably want Sami Zayn to win the big one within the next 2 years.
Next year, yeah.
Yeah,
Next year.
so he'll probably be on people's mind as a Rumble winner.
He's the favorite to win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
Like he is the outstanding favorite to win it.
See, I wonder if they'll go the Punk route after the reaction, but I don't know. I watched the thing from Raw about how it's now going to be a fatal 4-way in Paris, but like,
Yeah.
there's like no jeopardy to that. I know that they think that like, oh, doing the fatal 4-way adds jeopardy, but it really doesn't.
It helps.
Like, oh,
it helps Seth Rollins easily because it actually wavers in the champion's advantage. It gives them an advantage because, well, the shoe thief and Breaker can easily just interfere.
That's I mean, not only that, but they're not going to have Seth Rollins drop the title. And again, this is that thing we spoke about where like us being smart fans ruins it for us. But they're not going to have Seth drop the title less than a month after he's cashed in.
Yeah.
Against, I mean, he might end up dropping the belt to Punk, but not in Paris. It's not happening in Paris. I can't see it happening in Paris. And I know there were some shock results at SummerSlam, but SummerSlam's a big four. So they do that. Paris is going to be very... We'll give you some good matches, but there's not going to be like meaningful development.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And that's the point. I think they're hoping for a reaction that's gonna take it somewhere. But it's not gonna happen. And I'm surprised it's very babyface heavy. This fatal 4-way.
Well, it's just to give the two heels people to attack. It's going to be a 6-man tag in the structure of a fatal 4-way.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it'll work. Biggest underdog ever to win the Rumble. Well, Hacksaw just won it because it was just right there. But if you want to talk about an underdog winning it,
well, what sort of underdog? I know it's a question for you, but just like, do you mean like underdog in storyline or like a shock winner?
I think it's just underdog in general to win it. Now, obviously, people are going to say Rey Mysterio, but quite frankly, Rey Mysterio for me was guaranteed to win that Rumble anyway in 2006. So I'm actually ruling out Rey Mysterio considering what happened. So I'm excluding your favorite wrestler. Sorry.
Yeah, well, that's why I asked it, because if you're talking just purely like from underdog standpoint when it comes to like the worky McWork.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm just trying to think of all the Rumble winners. Duggan, Big John Studd, Hogan twice. Then you had Ric Flair, Yokozuna, Brett and Luger, Michaels back-to-back, Stone Cold back-to-back, Vince, Rock, well, then they eventually gave it to the Big Show, Stone Cold again, Triple H, Lesnar, Benoit, Batista, Mysterio, Taker, Cena, Orton, Edge, Del Rio in that pathetic 40-man Rumble, 2012 Sheamus, 13 Cena, 14 Batista, 15 Roman.
Oh, it's got to be Roman then. Massive underdog.
Now we know that's like a troll from you.
He was in there with Kane. Of course, Kane was going to win.
He did get. Funny thing is, he did get Rock booed, so that certainly said a lot. 2016, Triple H again for the second time. 2017,
Orton
Orton, yep. 2018 was Nakamura. 2019 Seth Rollins. 2020 Drew McIntyre. 2021 was
Edge.
Yep, from the very beginning. 2022 obviously was Lesnar. 2023 Cody Rhodes. 2024 Cody Rhodes. This year, 2025.
Oh, Jey Uso was quite the underdog, to be fair. Right, I've got a rogue shout for biggest underdog to win the Rumble, though.
Well, since we've just named them all.
Yeah. Well, you haven't named them all, because I was going to say Becky Lynch.
Well, we said underdog.
Well, she wasn't in the match. You can't be more underdog than not being officially in the match.
To be fair, if you're replacing someone as shit as Lana, then it says a lot.
Yeah, but she wasn't in the match.
I don't even know what the fuck's going on with Naomi Maria. No idea. I think it is more about just a. I think they were just planning on keeping her off the show just to add suspense.
Naomi's underappreciated thing fucks me off. Like, there's no wrestler, maybe other than Mercedes Moné, there is no female wrestler that has ever had more fans for doing less work.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think so, because like she got all those fans from her first run. So before she got released or left or whatever the deal was,
fair.
She got a lot of those fans, and we were always getting like, push Naomi, and they pushed Naomi, and she was bad. That's why she won the SmackDown Women's title like once or maybe twice, but I mean, everyone got to go with that belt. And then they didn't do anything else with her, and she was there to get beat, and she became like another Natalia. And people were always going, push Naomi, why wouldn't you give Naomi a chance? This is proof WWE don't like a certain kind of wrestler.
To be honest, I was actually going to say Natalia because when you look at Natalia's first run, she didn't get a title win until I'm going to say 2010, 2011 when Leiko were still running it.
Natalia doesn't have the fans to be like she's not underappreciated.
I think at times she was.
No one really cares, but it annoys me with Naomi because she comes out with like, you know, underappreciated, too nice, etc. It's like, well, you're not underappreciated in my eyes because I don't appreciate you. I think this is weird. I think it's so weird. You've got a 3 out of 10 wrestler as your world champion in that division. When you've got 8 and 9 out of 10 wrestlers and a couple of 10 out of 10 wrestlers that you could easily turn to and have a fantastic division. And once again, it's WWE going, hey, so the best people are going to feud over not the belt, but wanting to win the belt. And the champion's going to sit there like, I guess I'll just wait here for a new challenger.
You know who I actually think is becoming fast underappreciated from a women's perspective. I don't think she's great, I'll admit. And it's not a dig or nothing. I generally don't think she's great, but I do think she at least tries to make herself shown. I think Ivy Nile is actually becoming underappreciated. I don't think she's going to get anywhere though, if I'm being really honest. Like, I don't see her becoming like a main champion. But I feel like in terms of just someone as a worker on the roster, I feel like she is someone you can put in the ring with who's going to look after you and will get you for a good match so it'll push you on. But I don't think she's going to be someone that you would go, I want to put somebody as world champion. Let's give it to Ivy Nile. No.
She's going to be the Ziggler.
In a way, yeah.
Everyone just kind of beats her because she makes it look good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as the Naomi and Drea work, I mean, from just a person standpoint, I hope so. You know, as much as I don't like her, I don't want her to like be seriously hurt.
Yeah.
No. You know, in terms of storyline, I would rather she didn't have the title because she is far worse than the two people that competed against her for the belt at SummerSlam.
She's not losing that belt in Paris, in my opinion. I don't think Vaquer's winning.
I don't know if anyone's losing their belt in Paris.
I think the only one potentially losing it if they put it on is the tag titles, but that's it. Like the
Did
SmackDown
they
side.
not just change those? No, they retained them. Never mind.
Yeah, they retained them. Yeah, I think they'll likely drop theirs. I don't know. I'll be surprised if any champion.
They
drops
shouldn't
tag
have the Wyatt Six drop their belts until after at least the opening of the Universal thing.
Well, there is some reports apparently that faction is getting broken up soon, and I hate to say
They're,
it, all.
they're literally doing a haunted house based on it, like at
Yeah.
Universal. That wouldn't make any sense.
I've seen that. I've seen that. It does look really
I
cool.
mean, to be fair, it's mainly Bray Wyatt. Like it is mainly
Yeah.
the Fiend.
Yeah, that's all
because
that
he's the
matters.
star, but like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Right. I mean, if we don't have any other questions, if people would allow me a tired rant, obviously
Ooh.
the end of SummerSlam, people obviously wanted to know. I imagine it was the first thing on your mind.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes, it is true. It is true, Glenn. Yes. It's like that Gino DeCampo line, like when he said on This Morning for the first time, like if man had wheels, should be a bike. I mean, like it's kind of true. Like the SmackDown Women's title at the time had wheels. It would be a bike, and everyone had a ride on that. So yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Well, obviously the end of SummerSlam happened.
Oh yeah, I was wondering if you were gonna bring this up. It's quite funny
back
that
again.
It's quite funny.
I think that makes it. Yeah, right, Catherine. Nice to see you. Yeah, I'm on for a little bit. Yeah, I mean, just greatly enjoyed his return. 100%. I think it's necessary. I think it's nice to see TKO focusing on younger talent again. It's really good that John Cena's given the rub to such a young upstart as Brock Lesnar by allowing him to return at the end of another pay-per-view. They did this at SummerSlam. I think, was it the opposite or was it that? I'm trying to remember what way round it was.
What do you mean, sorry?
I think, was it not the year that Roman fought Cena at SummerSlam? Brock came back after it.
Yes, because Cena returned at Money in the Bank, didn't say anything, and then left, and then
and then Lesnar did it at
because that was a week before. It was actually a week before Roman actually held the title for a year. Cena was actually the one who could have stopped Roman from being champion for a year.
Yeah, which is crazy to look back on now. You all right, Billy? Nice to see you. Yeah, we're talking about him because, like, I think. I mean, how many times? I said this last time you returned. How many times are we going to go to this well? How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Like, I get it. He draws the money. But
I just love the fact that is how you responded to the fucking post on
I need them to come up with something else for him to do other than just return at the end of pay-per-views. Like, do something else, because it's like, oh my god, it was such a big shock. I was just like, not seen Brock for a while. He'll probably. I'm watching this show, so it was already in the back of my mind. When Punk won the belt, I wondered if Lesnar was going to come out then.
You know what's funny? That was considered, actually.
Turned out they waited a day and Lesnar's going for Cena instead. But as soon as reports were out, like, oh, Lesnar's been, like, dropped from lawsuit or whatever, you were like, okay, he's coming back then. And then the place still lost its mind. It's like, I don't get that. I know this is like the most sour grapes opinion you can imagine, right? Brock Lesnar to me has the Warrior effect.
Yes.
Like, he is not entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
But the people who watch him are entertained. And I don't get it.
It is literally, if you've never seen, obviously you get it in the game as well, but if you've ever seen like the film, like The Warriors, like there's like one little scene that's really important, but it's literally when he goes, Warrior, players come out to play. And it's literally just, here comes Lesnar. And you're like, yeah, we kind of expected that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what's even funny? You know what's been resurfacing a lot in the last week or so because of Lesnar's return? There's been two separate things that's resurfaced. One is so many videos of another individual. And the second one is all the Instagram reels and TikTok videos of 99 gorillas. Sorry, one gorilla versus 99 people, and out comes Brock Lesnar for number 100.
Yeah, I mean, it's
resurfaced.
It's an effective 100th man. I don't think it's a good idea, but it moves money, so of course they're going to do it. But we've been talking about WWE's short-sightedness for like 5 years now. I mean, at least with Jey Uso, I said 5 years. We haven't been doing this for 5 years. However long we've been doing it, and like before as well. Like, you know,
we are actually approaching 4 years on the channel.
Yeah, 4. See, 4's kind of like 5, you know. But yeah,
it's definitely Catherine and Hangman, because Catherine would honestly choke him to death. Ailey would just take one look at Brock and just go, fuck off.
Yeah, see, well, I can appreciate that Cody Rhodes carried Brock Lesnar to his first good matches, so I can totally appreciate that. You know, I'm glad that Cody Rhodes, your new undisputed champion, was, you know, charitable enough to let Brock Lesnar know what it was like to finally have a good match. But yeah, as far as it's just, I think it's a bad move. I think it's a bad PR move. I think even outside of what he did, a lot of fans, like outside of the ones that are in the arenas, I just don't think they want this anymore.
There's a lot,
and I know that sounds ridiculous based on the reaction he got, but I genuinely believe that we are getting to the point where a lot of fans don't.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so, Billy.
A lot of fans just don't, like, we're tired of his shit.
Yeah. No, I agree. I actually think it's more than just lack of awareness. I think it's tone deaf. Now, I get it. If Brock has been cleared, fine. You know what I mean? Like, I get it.
Yeah, and it seems that he has been. I'm coming at it purely from, like, a content perspective. Like, why the fuck do we need this fucker to do what he's doing again? Like, have we not seen this? And it's when you remember, and apologies to any viewers happening here, but you'll know generally what I mean here. It's when you remember that that WWE happens in America. When they're entertained by Brock Lesnar, there is an element of remembering where WWE is set.
The funny thing is, Nick, is I'm not so sure.
He's a one-off against Cena, and then he'll go after Cody.
Nah, Gunther. The minute his nose heals, I wouldn't be surprised if Brock Lesnar's in the Rumble and Gunther eliminates him.
But they'll want that to be for a belt.
No.
They will.
Not the first time. I think they'll go twice. I genuinely think they'll go twice.
I think you'll only need to see it once, and you'll realise that actually it's not a match that you want.
I mean, when you look at it, it's literally going to be 50 chops versus 50 German suplexes.
Gunther's best matches have been against small people. Like, why would we want... We saw what Gunther and Priest looked like.
Yeah.
And it was weird.
I think it'll be very interesting to see how Gunther goes up against someone, if he goes up against Lesnar, someone the same size as him, but someone who's generally far more athletic and superiorly stronger.
Well, go and find Gunther versus Braun Breaker if you want that.
That I really need again just for 12 spears, and that's about it.
Why is Brock Lesnar back if we have Braun Breaker? Why wasn't it Braun Breaker that was like pissed off at the end of the John Cena thing? I don't get it. They could push young talent and get the same level of, and I know you're like, oh, the same level of pop. It wouldn't be the same level of pop. I think it would be if you built it right. I mean, because people pop for the music anyway. They're gonna pop for who. Okay, obviously, if it's like Teddy Long, then
Like
no.
Brock
Yeah.
Lesnar's theme song is very distinctive. It always gets a like reaction. You hear it every time from the crowd. It's always the same reaction. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like it's like motor neuron. Like the minute like you just do it for the first time, it's stuck in your head. Like it's systematic and that's it. And the minute Lesnar's music goes off, you just go and you're like, I still don't fucking want you, mate. And I don't
Yeah.
like as well, and this is what I was going to ask, and I want to get your opinion on this, because obviously from a lecturer perspective, obviously this gives you a great idea of using the correct term. The bit that's been annoying me the most is the gaslighting from particular individuals and then choosing to act in a certain way. So I wanted to ask like your thoughts on Triple H gaslighting people, Cena gaslighting, which then turns out to actually not be Cena at all, and then deciding all of a sudden we're not going to do our post pay-per-view reaction shows anymore. Because that's not something we've spoken about since. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on that as well. I know obviously it's going back to SummerSlam, but obviously it's obviously Ailey's not been on the well, so I really want to hear this. So the gaslighting in particular, because I think that's caused a major concern.
I think it goes back to what we were saying before. Like WWE's a closed shop now, and it kind of always was. But now that it's got more money than it knows what to do with, like the pressure's kind of off, and the pressure's off as well because, and it wouldn't be a week of the weekly Steelchair if I didn't talk about how AEW are fucking it up. AEW are not the threat that they used to be. So WWE are the one fish in the sea. They're the one shark in the sea full of fish. And AEW are now just a bigger fish than the other fish, but they are not a shark. They're not a threat. And that means that WWE can just be a completely closed shop. So, oh, we don't like Brock Lesnar. Okay, don't watch. We don't care. As they say, like it is that meme of them like lighting a cigarette with another $100 bill and just going, okay, like we care. You know, like the level of money WWE are dealing with now between the Netflix deal and TKO and this and that, and the fact that they'll go to Paris and make several more millions of dollars and everything like that. They don't need fans even. Fans help their atmosphere, but they actually don't need them. Like, and they don't need them for like weekly shows. It's just money. And if that, it's kind of like that same thing. You know how you talk about like football having boycotts and stuff. It's like, well, if I don't go, another fan just fills my seat. That's exactly how it is with WWE. If I don't watch, well, someone else is going to. So,
true, yeah.
You know, it doesn't. WWE are under absolutely no threat anymore, so they don't actually need to try. And them bringing back Brock Lesnar, I would love to see someone go through how many times at a pay-per-view it's just been, and Brock Lesnar's back. It's got to be at least 7. I've got 4 in my head automatically. I'm not counting him cashing in the Money in the Bank, by the way, because like
that was on Raw.
But like, no, was that not Stomping Grounds after the mixed tag?
I thought it was on the Raw after. Yeah.
So I'm not counting that because if you win the Money in the Bank briefcase, you can return at any point. But I think we must be on like 7 random Brock Lesnar returns.
You can return at any time when you're slapping some fat guy with the contract in his face. So yeah, that's a good point. Let's see. I count I think it's 5 altogether. I think it's 5.
Okay,
Two,
so
s-
the four
the two,
I've
s-
got.
the 2 SummerSlams.
Yep.
He did do one.
So I'm counting
For
the Money in the Bank match.
yeah, that counts. The Hell in a Cell,
Yeah, Hell in a Cell was the fourth one I had in my head.
because that was fucking awful anyway. And the 5th one he didn't. There was one that he did. I'm trying to remember what it was. I'm just trying to remember the event.
Would he have had to return for SmackDown to beat Kofi?
Yes,
Was that like
that was the Fox
did
premiere.
they build to that, or did they just say he was fighting him?
They just said on Friday night, like Brock Lesnar's returning to compete on television for the first time in XYZ, and
Right, I'm counting that then.
yeah,
So there's 5.
and then well, do you want to include his return against Cena Extreme Rules? Well, for Extreme Rules,
It depends. I mean, technically, but it would depend how long it had been.
well, he wasn't signed. Remember, Brock
Then
wasn't.
yeah,
Brock,
probably count that.
yeah, Brock wasn't signed to WWE until that point. He was actually. There was rumored he was returning, but he was meant to return for. Funnily enough, he was meant to return to SummerSlam that year.
That would be 3. So wow, amazing.
But they brought him back early because of the whole Cena redemption story. So they put him through Cena first. Cena should not have beat him at that one.
No, but it was about redemption. Anyway, Billy's saying, have you discussed Kross yet? We have. They took signs off people. So WWE were outraged at the possibility of there being a protest against Karrion Kross's dismissal, but at the end of the day, most of the fans that were in there, they saw Karrion Kross as a jobber with a name. He didn't get to do anything. He didn't even win a title on the main roster.
I think the weird thing is he became less serious when he was given the long-haired mullet. Not saying that it's a pull-off for some people, but I actually feel like it took away some sort of look for him, because when he had the short hair, he looked a little bit more twisted. I know that might sound a little bit weird, but like it had that look, and I feel like the more you add to it, the more you fuck about with it, the more it gets out of control, and I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, the whole Karrion Kross thing is an example that across wrestling right now, everyone is struggling to just build a star. And unfortunately, WWE's most recent example of how to build a star has been Jey Uso, and it's worked for some reason. But they do at least have now a fresh face they can put into main events and go, hey, it's Jey Uso. You're like, okay, well, I mean, it feels big. I don't personally like watching his matches, but you put Jey Uso in a match, it feels big. LA Knight feels big. But you've got to look back for Karrion Kross when he got beat by Jeff Hardy on Raw. Why did Jeff Hardy beat him on Raw? It was because Jeff Hardy was the bigger name and the bigger star, and they went with him. Why did Sami Zayn beat Karrion Kross twice? Well, because Sami Zayn's the bigger star, they're building him for stuff, and they're not doing anything with Kross. Kross was always there to lose fights. See, Kross would have been absolutely fantastic in the Judgment Day. Because they don't win.
Yeah, I think the weirdest thing is they missed a trick. Tempo's actually made a fair comment. Karrion Kross had the look, the entrance, the woman, and then the bell rings. That's my honest opinion. He can legitimately fight as well. Like him and Nakamura both train in the same dojo together. But I feel like the problem with Karrion Kross, and this is just my opinion, when you look at Karrion's style, you could have used him in short burst matches where, yes, like say like it doesn't have to be 5-minute squash matches, but you can build him up where you incorporate some of the stuff he does in real life, like his MMA and his mixed martial arts and his jiu-jitsu, all that. you could have incorporated that into such a short range gimmick where he works up his matches. Say you've got like a 3 minute where he just beats the shit out of someone and chokes them out. You move up to a 5 minute. You treat it like it's, I know you don't like it, but you can treat it like he's in like a mixed martial arts, like UFC setting, where he's not in the.
It would potentially work.
And then you build him up to someone where he is still working his way up. Like he's talking everyone down, and then he gets to someone where there's always a step back. It's always the bigger hurdle. And I'm like, you don't have to book him like a killer. Essentially against guys who's most likely he should be losing against, but people he should be beating. You could essentially kill them off effectively. But then every time you get up to, say, I'll throw names that you've already mentioned, like Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, for example. You can throw in, say, a CM Punk. You can throw in, he's not in the company anymore, but you could have said like a Braun Strowman or an Omos. Give him something to do, for fuck's sake. You give the likes of Bronson Reed, who is just stealing people's shoes. You've got.
I just find it weird that, like they put AJ Styles over him on Raw
with ease,
then have Logan Paul beat AJ Styles, and the Karrion Kross and AJ Styles stuff went nowhere.
That's the thing; like, it doesn't make any sense. So I'm like, all those names we've basically mentioned, Karrion Kross could be beating someone who's just like underneath them, like a JD McDonough, then gets beat by Finn Balor. You know what I mean?
No one gets beat by Finn Balor anymore.
I know. I'm just using them as a clear example. You've got the lackey.
If you get beat by Finn Balor now, you're next.
But you know what I mean? Like, you've got the lackey. You get beat by the more recognized talent. Obviously, Finn Balor is Pin Balor on this channel now. But what I mean is, like, Karrion Kross could have been humiliating the associate, but then the main guy is actually going, bitch, back in your lane. You know what I mean? Like, it's actually easy to book him. You don't have, to book, like it's so easy. Like, even though he's obviously in our company now and he's a genuine stoner and he loves getting his triple X relationships, you could have used Karrion Kross like Matt Riddle. They've got the same background, except Matt Riddle was in the UFC. You could have used Karrion Kross similar to like incorporate his mixed martial arts. It's so easy, but they got they I think they just did not care. And you mentioned earlier on, excellently, I might add, about the was it a shoot, wasn't it a shoot promo that he did after WrestleMania on that podcast with that midget bald fool. And obviously his wife was sitting there and he spoke about like, well, WrestleMania is here in like my backyard. I'm not even on the bloody pay-per-view, and he's going after his nut. And I'm like,
he was on the pay-per-view.
He wasn't doing anything.
He tried to hand brass knuckles to AJ Styles.
True. But I mean, like,
so that is on the pay-per-view. Yeah.
I think it's the mannerism that stands out. So, like, he's sitting there raging. I'm like, and he said specifically, "Oh, we've got ideas, we've pitched, and they don't care." And I think that should have told you the whole point. You've got your ideas. Your wife is pitching ideas. They don't care because it's not WWE creative ideas where they want it to be their own thing, and then they will present it to you to try and get it over. If it's your own idea, doesn't matter how great it is, you're not going to get away with it. It's not going to be put on TV. So Karrion Kross at that point, if you're a genuine fan instead of the fake outrage fans that appear on social media, they should have realized at that point, actually, he ain't getting used. It doesn't matter how hard you try. Karrion Kross at that point was doomed. He's going to stick, and people are now going all up in their face, fake outrage, and I'm like, you guys are so diluted that you don't get it. Like, you are 4 or 5 steps back when you claim to be 2 steps forward.
Yeah, no, I mean, the fact that they hadn't used him at all. Yeah, the fact they hadn't used him for so long, they hadn't given him anything to do. Like, writing was on the wall. It was the same with you know, oh, Braun Strowman's gone. Well, yeah, they weren't doing anything with him. Of course he's gone. But the question comes down to, I mean, what was said in the chat there, Triple H never liked Karrion Kross.
He
He
wasn't.
did.
He did.
Karrion
He
Kross
did.
went over, won the belt. He
Got mugged
Finn
by Adam
Balor
Cole.
it, though, didn't he? The first
Yeah.
time in NXT. He Finn Balor it. He was hurt the following night.
And then he got it back, and then he got mugged off by Adam Cole. I said
Is
it
that
on...
what led to Finn Balor winning it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, because Kross beat Lee at the end.
He ruined Keith Lee.
Yeah, he beat Keith Lee at Takeover the End, because that
Which was a good show. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was the point of it. It was Karrion Kross. The end is near, that sort of thing. Or end is here, even. The end is near
was well
Jim
presented.
Johnston for Armageddon. But then he got a shoulder injury. And unlike Finn Balor, Triple H went, okay, Karrion, well, we're going to give you the chance to run with the ball again. And he had a fairly brief run as champion, which was it Samoa Joe?
Yes.
It was Samoa Joe that beat him, which is just a bizarre thing to think about. But the worst thing for Karrion Kross now is going back to that shark and fish thing I was on about. There's nowhere for him to go. I mean, he's barking up a weird pole if he wants to go to AEW, because they won't do anything with him. They've proven that.
I was going to say, I'm not going to bring up on screen, obviously, because it depends, obviously, reading it. People could get triggered by the words, but Billy, that is true. There are, of course, accusations against an individual about potentially SA and harassment claims, and that's something that people are not realizing as well. If those are in fact true, he shouldn't go to AEW. It's a bad call. I don't even think personally. I said it on, I think it was last night's show. Someone can remind me. I think it was last night's show. Someone can remind me, that'd be great. But my exact words were, Karrion Kross shouldn't just jump to. I think personally, I don't think he's been removed from WWE. I think he's just going to go to another area with around them. But I think, for me, quintessentially, he is the right move for Karrion Kross. Because remember, WWE are paying for his book tour. People are forgetting this. I think he should, for now, concentrate on his book tour, take a step back from wrestling, and think about what he can actually do to then get himself over, as you say, with the mainstream audience. I don't think Karrion Kross is a bad guy at all. I think he's actually very genuine. But the reality is, if you can't get over those fans, you could be the best wrestler in the world, but if they aren't going to care about you, then what's the point? Now, we could, like we've said it before, I thought his return was excellent, the way that he returned and he ruined Drew McIntyre in front of the Bloodline.
It was a return that promised so much and delivered nothing, and
yeah, they backed out fast on that.
Yeah, but they're doing this more these days, WWE. They've established who is and who isn't in the picture.
Yeah.
And then someone will return, not to win, but they just return. And we've not seen this person for a while, and now they're going to have a fight, and then they lost, but
that is
then they're going to have this fight, and then, they lost that too. You know, Randy Orton and AJ Styles. I mean, if we're going to be proper about this, obviously, Drew returned to get beat.
That's right.
You know, we're talking about Kross coming and going and getting beat every time he came and went. There are people whose express purpose for WWE for the last 2 or 3 years has been to return
and lose,
and sink down the mid card, get injured, work or shoot, and then do it again.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong.
Like
And the
Kevin
funny,
Owens will come back if he does come back from that horrible injury. He'll come back and get beat first time.
yeah, I hope he. I personally, for the love of Kevin Owens, I hope he doesn't return.
I hope that he doesn't because it sounds
I don't want him to
horrendous.
return because I don't want him to get injured. You know, like I feel like
Yeah,
he keeps getting these bad injuries, and I want him just to live a healthy life. I actually think Kevin Owens would be decent as an agent. I think he would actually be a decent agent because I feel like you can tell that he still has a passion for the business. You know, he can clearly think, but I think it'd be a good idea just to let him go. Like it's the best way to just move him on. Zodiac says, "Return, lose, disappear." I'm sure they're making a hell of a paycheck. Absolutely, they're making.
Yeah, and like I said, WWE that money train rolls on, so it doesn't matter if Randy Orton returns to get beat and returns to get beat and returns to get beaten. He won at WrestleMania, but that was over a jobber, so we
Yep.
move on from that. And AJ Styles returns to get beat. I mean,
Yep.
you get to that point. I mean, if you notice, the new returning star that wins is actually a celebrity.
Yeah.
Because Logan Paul pitches up after a few months away and wins. And he gets fairly big wins.
Have Kross return to WWE with offers of pain and Austin Theory and have them target Seth Rollins. Austin Theory, I literally put on a community post last night because I was laughing at the IWC. Austin Theory has already started his gimmick change through his TikTok. I seen it as a random video the other day. Someone reposted it. Austin Theory is going under a whole new positivity spell, and everything he's saying is about finding a positive spin. I think he's going to come back as a Theory of positivity.
A jobber.
He is going to come back as a positive jobber, basically. Yeah. AOP.
So Max Caster.
Yes. AOP are finished. AOP, quite frankly, have been used in WWE so many times, they will never get over.
If they wanted Kross to do something that was like really different, I mean really different.
Go on.
Have him go and interact with the dark side and the mob stuff in NXT.
Is that Dark State?
Dark State, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Have him go and interact with that, because the whole point was Kross was supposed to have a group. He was supposed to have people. So if you wanted like AOP, I don't think it should be AOP. I actually think Kross is a much better fit for the White Six.
That's a dead faction as well, very, very soon, according to some reports.
Kross with the Wyatt Six, with the level of production that NXT were putting into Dark State versus I don't know what what were they called? The Family. Yeah, the Family. That was genuinely like impressive to watch. So the fact that they couldn't even do anything that felt chaotic with Karrion Kross when he returned is actually more of a slight against WWE. Like, fair enough, you don't want to put the belt on him, but you can't even make him like interesting. He can't just be beating the hell out of someone backstage, like doing the Braun Breaker stuff.
Like, it's so, like, it could be done. Like, he's got the physique for it, and he actually has the way he speaks, he can back it up. That's what I don't understand. That's why I'm like, I pitched this idea, like, why don't you just have him, like, he destroys the lackey with comfortable ease, but then he gets beat by the main person. It's what I find quite funny about Karrion Kross, and this is a bit unfortunate, but it's true. He kept talking specifically about Sami Zayn, that he's here to destroy the liars and get rid of them. So why all of a sudden is he not targeting them? Like, it seems to be like a lost in the shuffle. Like, if you look at who he physically could have went for, why is he not going for someone like CM Punk?
Because the Kross and Sami Zayn stuff's just a rehash of Embrace the Hate.
Exactly. It's well, yeah, it is 2012 over
It's
again. Actually,
but it's a rehash of Embrace the Hate, but not with the top babyface, and not with a heel that anyone gave a shit about.
I agree with this. That's why I mentioned it alone about the Adam Cole promo. That Adam Cole promo absolutely ruined Kross. Like, word for word, Adam Cole literally said, I might not be the champion right now, but when people think of this brand and this championship, they don't think of you, they think of me. And that includes Finn Balor, who was backstage.
Oh, is this the one about you? You know, you got the lights, you've got the girl, you've got the. You know what they do to make Adam Cole feel special? They ring the freaking bell. Yeah, because what that exposed about Karrion Kross was, in essence, quite a bit about certainly what main roster think about Finn Balor. I think it's incredibly unfair, but idea that Finn Balor was just the demon, and like, oh, we'll only care when he's the demon.
I think people forget how good he was.
It's because NXT built up the demon, and that's why I really appreciate that when he did his second run, like in NXT, it was Finn. It wasn't like the demon. He didn't have to do it that way, because I feel like that got Finn Balor a lot of respect for like, oh no, you aren't just like a gimmick that was cool. You can actually work. I feel like that is where Kross fell down. Not that he couldn't work, but that he was seemingly booked in matches where he didn't end up working.
Yeah, I agree. Like, they took
it was like he worked like Gunther and then lost. Because Gunther only bumps on very rare occasions, and he dominates matches. But Gunther also very, very rarely loses. And Kross always lost. But like, if you watch Kross versus AJ Styles, it was like Kross was all over him, and then there was like 90 seconds that AJ Styles potentially took over, not completely unanswered, and then he hit the phenomenal forearm and won.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's where it doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't. And like Finn Balor, obviously, you mentioned about his enjoyment of competing. Like, he came into NXT at the time, arguably you could say top 3 to top 5 wrestler in the world. When he was coming in, he was doing mixtures of, well, the Demon, you could essentially say, was WWE's own creation, but that's only because what he was bringing into WWE was the face paint and the body art. But he made it the Demon in WWE, but outside the WWE, it wasn't that. It was Venom, Carnage, crossover designs that he was doing, and they were sick as fuck. But he brought that alternate personality into NXT, and it was presented like an unbeatable gimmick. And then you get to the main event, you have him lose in a Hell in a Cell match that obviously by circumstances should never have happened anyway. And then you have him lose to God. And it just takes away the mystique. But I'm like, Finn Balor before then as well, even when he returned from his first injury on the main roster, he was working good matches and he was being presented like, the crazy thing is they actually tried to present him in a way where he was actually a credible threat to Lesnar. Remember that when he challenged Lesnar and he's like, well, nobody believes that Finn Balor is a credible threat to Lesnar. No disrespect. But the way that he was talking to Lesnar, he was basically saying, I don't care if you're close to 300 pounds. I'm going to out-wrestle you and I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, it was like, classic, like, Daniel Bryan had done that. Sami Zayn did it later with Gunther, obviously. I still feel like Sami Zayn's is the best one because he'd already established that he could. So he was literally just able to look him in the eye. He was able to just look Gunther in the eye and like, and the thing that makes me the most dangerous, you know, the biggest threat to your Intercontinental title is that no one in this room is giving me a fighting chance. Like that was great because you're like, yeah, no, you're right. And Sami Zayn, like this is why I don't really get the hate for Sami Zayn. I think he's fantastic. I do want him to win the big one. I think that's long overdue. I think he's done a lot for that company, and I think he's done a lot for the company in terms of boosting Jey Uso to the point that he's now done something that Sami hasn't. And I kind of hope that leads to some kind of story between Sami and Jey. I don't just want them to be buddy forever. I do want there to be like a fallout for them now. You know, but yeah, in terms of, I mean, obviously wherever
that is funny. That is funny, Zodiac.
wherever Cross goes, we'll obviously be looking to see. But I don't know what he's got left. I
think
am
he's
gonna have
step
to
back.
hop off just now.
Good seeing you. I think he should
Just
take a
give my
step
head
back.
a rest.
No, absolutely. I think personally he should take a step back. You know, I think he should focus on the book tour, focus on what he can do to change things up. And if it doesn't work, go and do a Matt Cardona, go in the indies, force yourself into the conversation again. There's nothing stopping him. If anything, I think it says a lot about you if you just go, you know what, okay, I'm not wanted here right now. I'll go and try this and I'll force myself into the conversation. I think if he just goes to another company, like another North American organization, no matter where it is, I think he doesn't prove people wrong. I think he proves them right, which is the opposite to normally if you leave an organization. There's nothing wrong with getting released or if it's a genuine release. No, I think personally, if saying for saying's sake, I still think he's going to stay with WWE anyway, but I think for the saying's sake, if the option is there where he can go and do the indies for a bit, go and do the indies. There's no shame in it. And he might actually get a chance to turn shit around. But it's an absolute pleasure to have you back on and get you more on. If it's an hour and a quarter each time until you're back up to 100%, fine by me.
Yeah, it seems like we're playing the long game. You know, me and this illness are doing a blockbuster feud. You know, it seemingly the way that booking's got it, it seems to be going all the way to Rumble, perhaps even to Mania. You know, like this is my main storyline for the year.
I'll be letting you cover that because I'm standing true to my word. I'm refusing to cover anything to do with the Royal Rumble. Sorry, folks, if you have to hear me say that again.
You might end up with a rather brief review then. But no, I just
and a 5-minute preview. This fucker wins the men's. This fucker wins the women's.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I'll just go. It's this fucker, then that fucker. Yeah, but no, it's as always been a pleasure. I will hop on when I can.
Yeah, just drop in it like always. You know that.
Hopefully, be back to how things were pretty soon. But
that is
I'm gonna have to get a lot better first.
Absolutely. And guys, if you want to know where you can find Ailey, she is on TikTok. She does, for her own content, she does do gaming herself. She also does streams for, as Ailey can confirm on screen, she does Pokemon Face Paint. She's on, correct me if I'm wrong, you're on, is it day 290 plus now or yet day 300? And double check the number.
313. So if you want to pick a day to join, Friday would be day 316. So, you know, 316 for the wrestling fans.
Mm-hmm.
Every video gets uploaded to my YouTube, which you can find at Princess Ales. I've kept the TikTok and the YouTube going. I just can't talk for very long. I mean, max have got an hour and then brain fog kicks in. And to be honest, you probably heard it at points tonight as well, where I've just been like, what was I talking about? But as I say, I'm going to have to get quite a lot better before we can go back to the 2 and 3 hour streams, as it were. But
it's still good to get more than an hour out of you. That's what matters. Feel better soon and just keep me updated. Obviously, like
I mean, look, they took my red viscous liquid yesterday, and I will find out in a week what my red viscous liquid results are. So I'll obviously keep you posted on that. But other than that, have a lovely stream, everyone, and I will catch you next time. So just look up and follow the buzzards.
Deuces. If you have never been here at the Weekly Steelchair before, obviously that is my long-running co-host, Ailey. So let's just wish her well in the chat, guys. Let's wish her well. But of course, it is good to get over an hour out of Ailey. That's sometimes even an hour is still great to get a conversation because she's a great laugh. She is, and she's a brilliant offer. So if you've actually, where is it? I will find it. One second. Shut up, Billy. That's why you're not on this channel. 1 second. Good one, Billy. No, I was actually trying to find my copy of Ailey's book. I've got a version of it as well. But I've put it somewhere and I don't know where I've put it. It's in here somewhere. I'd actually be set on fire. But yeah, screw her. I don't care. She isn't going to get close to a main event push. So quite frankly, she'll be stuck in the tag title scene for a while. I wouldn't get anywhere near it. Yeah, she isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Okay. Let's get through. Because we're close to the one. Like, we're nearly at the 90-minute mark. So let's get through Raw, and then we can wrap things. So how do we start? Well, we start quite simply, really. We do a shitty recap, and then we move on. Yes, and the funny thing is they'll turn heel on Iyo Sky, and it will do them absolutely nothing. Like, they are actually not doing anything. Like, they're not going to get pushed. They're not going to get, like... There's actually nothing going for them at all. I wouldn't know, because I don't watch SmackDown anymore. Go and look for them then, because that's all I'm going to say. Iyo versus Asuka will be amazing. 10 years ago. You want them, go look for them, because you're not going to get them, because I don't know where they are. I guarantee they'll be in the Oval Office, the way things are acted these days. But, so... Raw does start with the proverbial recap. Recap's over. CM Punk comes out and just says words. As we know he does. Straight to the whole... The fact they're calling it Heist of the Century is absolutely hilarious. He jumps straight into the whole recap of losing the world title at SummerSlam. He's coming back for his championship. He's going to take it back one way, shape, or form, which is obviously the expectation. And the minute he felt like he let the fans down, he sounds like a football player after a football match. Oh, we're sorry we didn't win. Here's a big apology. And I'll do better next time. Probably. Wouldn't surprise me. He has vowed that despite what happened at MetLife Stadium, he is going to overcome this. He's going to regain his spot, and he's going to regain his championship, and he is going to pretty much ensure that his hatred for Rollins will maintain and will lead him back to the main part of the Promised Land, which again is not going to really do much anyway. Following last week's interference and screwjob in the main event, out comes LA Knight. Again, he also gets a big reaction, I must admit. To many, he does, because he has to prove a point, which he hasn't done just yet. LA Knight, for some reason, he limped himself over by saying Punk was screwed and he deserved it, and then everything was taken from him, but he then obviously gets straight to the point of he had a chance as well last week and he ruined it. We get the back and forth straight away from LA Knight and CM Punk. This was a verbal attack. The mannerism is coming. And then out comes the bald chubby with the man who loves to steal shoes. And of course, Braun Breaker. Absolutely, he should not even be anywhere near it. And Billy, I do, yes, but it will be transitional. I can't take Bronson. Like Bronson Reed's already got a destructive gimmick, and he just splashes people. I can't take him seriously when he steals a man's shoes. Like, is he a Newcastle fan all of a sudden, or is he a Liverpool fan just trying to get out of the bins? Like, what is his aim? Like, I don't feel like that works. You know, like, oh, I can't be the real thing, so I'm just going to take your shoes. That's like proper tramp behavior. I think he's building himself, as they call it, a shoe falla. Like, he's going to call himself the tribal... Well, I'm going to call him the tribal shoe. People want to say tribal thief. I'm calling him the tribal shoe because he's just going to be a man that owns shoes. I can't take that shit seriously. Especially when you've got Braun Breaker beside him claiming that 47 and 40 make 100, but it was funny in elements. I just don't get it, right? The tribal foot fetish. That's one way to put it. He's got a kink. He likes men's shoes. Braun Breaker obviously loses his, and I think it was totally random, the fact that 47 and 40 make 100 combined and all that stuff. Like, I was genuinely random stuff. But obviously the match is set. The main event for this show. Wouldn't surprise me what he's doing behind the scenes, Robbie. Like, it would not surprise me. The way that it comes across, it is kind of creepy. But it is your main event. Obviously, a couple of lines, obviously, from this that stand out. CM Punk obviously says, "Here's a promise. I'm going to take my title back. I'm going to take it from you when I do. You won't have to pretend to be injured because I'm going to break your legs." Is that before or after your fragile hands break themselves? Out of curiosity, Mr. Brooks. You know what I mean? We can already see the elements of a triple threat being created at the time. It's something like that. I don't hate Punk. I just don't think Punk matters anymore. You know? I don't think he matters as much as he's perceived. And I feel like that actually doesn't do any help, any favors. I feel like that's the problem. And I feel like they need to focus on other people and, funnily enough, new stars. But if he's there, don't make him feel like he's a waste. But he is a waste. But yeah, I just like the idea of calling him fragile. Punk is more of a heel in this story than fucking Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins is the heel world champion. Let that sink in. I agree. I agree with that 100%. There is obviously for Triple Mania this weekend, well, to be exact, Triple Mania 34. There's a video package confirming that Dominik Mysterio with his Dirty Sanchez mustache, Dragon Lee, who is, what the fuck is Dragon Lee meant to be in 2025, and El Grande, whichever one he's meant to be, will challenge El Hijo de Vikingo for the Dupri Mega Championship this Saturday. Long story short, he is not going to get pinned, but he's losing. He's losing his championship on Saturday. I think if you're a betting man, it's either going to be Ludwig Kaiser, or it's going to be Dominik Mysterio that walks out on Saturday, in my opinion. Billy, I disagree. He's already past that. I feel like they've actually made it so clear that Mysterio or Ludwig Kaiser is going to win the championship on Saturday, but I don't know. Before we get that, of course, we do have a tag match. Mysterio and Ludwig Kaiser Americano are up against Dragon Lee, and you could have actually had Vikingo in this match, but no, we've chosen AJ Styles. Yes. Because Brock Lesnar proves that he's out of touch. And he's gaslighting people by saying it's this person. No, it's actually us. This is Isolation 101 because AJ Styles, for pretty much the entire match, is just isolate when he's in the ring. The heels are in full control. There's actually some good tags between El Grande Deutschland. That's what he's genuinely called to me. El Grande Deutschland. And Dominik Mysterio. Eventually, we do get some upper hand from from Styles when he tags in Dragon Lee. There's some good tag spots, but it's so predictable the way that they'll go about it. You could tell they were going to do a little bit of a joke. He bought. Don't even go with the. He brought back truth. Don't do that. He literally brought back because people were crying and moaning. And he gave them Jay. So Jay was like sniffing coke with one line and managed to make himself lucky. Never his way of getting out there. Once you're out of touch with fans, you should just resign from your post anyway. Like once you're out of touch, that's it. Like, in my opinion, that's it. You can't get them back once you're out of touch. Of course, as a weird spot, normally you would get El Grande Deutschland with the metal plate and the mask. Instead, the plate goes to Mysterio and his mask. He hits a down headbutt there. Because he actually headbutts him square in the face. That's on AJ Styles, and then we get the win. Commentary team for this is GBL and Corey Graves. Which I don't get at all. All the heels were getting chants as well. Like, it's not going anywhere. I thought the monkey flip into the Styles Clash was probably the best spot on the entire show. But that says a lot, really, about where they're going. Sami Hogan, action next, up against Rusev, all because of last week where Sami Zayn just interjects in everybody's business. And we know how this match was going to go. And it was exactly how it was going to go. This was just a violent fest. Probably. As we expected, they are going to build up to Sami Zayn winning the World Championship. He spoke briefly before that with General Manager Adam Pearce that if he wins tonight, then he wants a match at Clash for the championship. And Adam Pearce says, "We'll see. We'll consider your request and we'll move on." Whilst lying to his face, mate, because you're not getting anything. They are official for Forbidden Door. I don't think Swerve's winning that, if I'm being honest. I still think Okada wins. He's now on 510 days as a champion in AEW. He's the longest of any championship holder. Before Sami can win the match, out comes the family tree. Solo Sikoa, Jail Chunk. ISO Speed would be perfect in a last man standing on the Arctic Ocean. Well, on a frozen lake, actually, in Antarctica, versus a polar bear. Yeah, ISO Speed in the Antarctic on a frozen lake versus a polar bear. I think that'd be quite good. And then chuck in Logan Paul. Yeah. No. On the ice. Because when you get rid of both of them, the world is a better place. But yeah, so Just Cause, Mateo, Talatonga, Hikaleo, and Tongaloa. I hate the fact they've actually renamed these guys and ruined them. They show up, they actually get involved and just attack Sami Zayn because of the result on SmackDown. Sheamus comes out, he hits the running knee on Rusev, and then they brawl into the crowd. This was just a bit of a waste. This felt like a waste in my opinion. Be in action tonight. She's meant to be up against Naomi for the World Championship, obviously confirmed at the start of Raw. Naomi is not clear to compete, therefore she will be in a different matchup. She will be in a match with Roxanne Perez. Prior to this, she was offered backup from Asuka and Kairi Sane. She said no. And then in the match, we got a very defensive Iyo Sky. She's more competitive on the defensive sense. She's not as attacked a lot. Rusev. Me neither. He isn't actually doing anything for them, James, at all. Like, he's not going anywhere. And he won't do anything. Roxanne Perez is very much on the offensive. She is very aggressive in this match. And I just wonder what the intention is. Like, I don't like the fact that she's now just the third woman in Judgment Day, you know? Like, well, fourth if you really want to include Raquel Rodriguez. But I mean, like, the third woman linked to just one person. I think that takes away from Roxanne Perez. I think Roxanne Perez just needs to be booked better as a solo talent. And she needs to stop using her pop rocks. It needs to be retired as a finisher. I don't think it's a good enough finisher for her. I don't think it allows her to proceed better. It's not good for me. I think she needs to walk away from this. But that's just my opinion. Raquel Rodriguez obviously does get involved. But Iyo Sky does get rid of her, which is not too bad, not too bad. What's up, Roy Sheen? We get more interference after we get the moonsault attempt. Roxanne then exposed the turnbuckle. Asuka and Kairi Sane then get involved, despite the specific wishes of Iyo not for them to get involved. And Roxanne Perez gets the win with the roll-up. We know it's coming. Asuka and Kairi Sane are going to turn on Iyo Sky. How they're going to do that, I don't know. I also don't see why they should. Like, I like the work between Sky and... Glad to hear you're doing it. I actually think Iyo Sky and Roxanne Perez could be a good feud if you just keep them away from factions. But I feel like they're going to be stuck within that metaverse of Judgment Day, Kabuki Warrior. You're stuck there. You can't escape it. Similar to like Kevin Owens, when Kevin Owens could not get away from the Bloodline storyline. He was there. He's immersed in it. I feel like Iyo Sky and Roxanne Perez are going to be just that. They're going to be stuck in this realm and they can't get out, which is a shame because they should not be anywhere near it. But that's what I think. Personally, I think it's time for Roxanne Perez to get a new finisher, go solo, and try and reinvigorate herself in a different way because it doesn't work with the Judgment Day. It just doesn't work. Title match up next. Becky Lynch defends the Women's Intercontinental title against Maxxine Dupri because Natalya challenged her last week and Becky thought, I'm just going to take the weaker blonde. Okay. Becky was overconfident, like extremely overconfident. I know exactly, Zodiac. And it almost backfired. Oh, nice. Meteor shower. Enjoy it. That'll be good fun. It did seriously backfire for her, but Maxxine Dupri almost got a win following a comeback, but she would eventually tap out, and then she would knock down Natalya. What is the point? They haven't wrestled against each other in 6 years as well, so is that the next route? We're going to have a singles match between Becky and Natalya for the Intercontinental title? I don't know. Main event is due to come up next, but I want to get everyone's opinions on this first. It's in the live chat. Let me get your opinions on this. There's a video, first of all, of Bayley, and I think I pretty much know what it means. Now, the video talks about who she is as the role model. And what that means to the locker room, what it means to the fans, and what it means to herself. And she talks about how she feels numb, and it's a detraction. You can literally tell what is coming for Bayley. It's a sympathetic way to turn her heel. She's going to play the sympathy card, and then they're going to turn her heel. And in all truth to this, I don't think that's a good idea. I think that actually would annoy people more, because they had the chance to already pull the trigger and make it feel something. Instead, they chose to just make Bayley feel like an afterthought, and Bayley is an afterthought. I'm sorry, but Bayley hasn't meant anything important in a long time. It's not because she's not good enough. It's quite simply, who actually cares about Bayley in 2025? I look at her in-ring style. I look at her character. I look at her promo skills. I look at her overall presentation. And for a woman who's achieved so much, and she has, it sure feels to me that maybe she's not as important as maybe she thinks she is. Like, it seems to me that she is now at the curtain tail of where she's meant to be. And that tells a much bigger... Like, that, for me, tells me a far more important thing, you know? So, with all due respect to Bayley, I think she should honestly consider what's next for her. And whatever that is, cool. But yeah, I just don't think it's gonna work for Bayley. Backstage, Rhea Ripley encounters Iyo Sky. After again, Rhea Ripley's another one. Like, love Rhea Ripley, but she's starting to just get involved in everybody's business. She does not fuck off, you know, and it's becoming a problem. But she warns Iyo Sky about the Kabuki Warriors and talks about some tension. But Io's like, nah, like, back off, like, stay away. We don't need this. She should be the Bayley sitter. She probably sits on you and it's all over. I agree with you, mate. I think it is going to be a huge week of boredom and we're just going to have to pull through. We'll pull through. Back in the arena, Punk and LA Knight are here to do battle against Steiner Math's latest inductee to Trying to Process and the man who steals shoes, Bronson Reed. Early domination from the Vision's representatives, Bronson and Braun. Along those lines, if you can, CM Punk obviously starts the match. He is heavily isolated. They basically tear him apart. And I like the way they were actually using their size. I feel like they don't actually use their size as much. I feel like it's an odd thing where they don't exert that type of dominance, but they had to do it in this way. And my only concern, though, is like my only main concern is how you position them. I feel like they're not putting Braun Breaker in a position he should be in, which is, for me, the major championship run again. He should be a holder of a major title. Yeah, we're gonna need something to survive that somehow. CM Punk eventually does make a hot tag to LA Knight, or more like a cold tag. Probably. LA Knight does get a little bit of momentum until Braun Breaker goes stuff you and then clotheslines him over the commentary table. This is I'm gonna say this now. That move is gonna cost Braun Breaker a lot very soon. Eventually he's gonna mistime that and he's gonna get badly injured. What's up, Ashton? LA Knight would eventually get back in the ring. He would regain some control over Braun Breaker. He tags in CM Punk. However, the world champion Seth Rollins makes his way to the ring. We force a disqualification. Another main event ending in a DQ. Back-to-back Monday Night Raws ending in DQs. The Vision in their entirety destroy Punk and LA Knight. Jay on that hard stuff, because he's always snorting shit. Uso makes his way to the ring, makes a save. Decent, Fletch. Good to see you, my man. Division bail from ringside, to which point Adam Pearce comes out and he declares, I know it's crazy that it's still a thing, Adam Pearce declares that Seth Rollins, who's in the middle of trying to get out of here in anger, he has been told at Clash in Paris, he is a bloody vision, exactly. He has been told he will defend the world title against Punk, Knight, and Uso in Paris. Sami Zayn, looks like you're not getting your title shot. Hold that, motherfucker. But yeah, another main event ending in a DQ. And it was so predictable. You knew the Rollins was going to return after he vacated the premises earlier on, well, claimed. Like, it's so predictable. It's so easy. Like, how can you not tell that he's not going to return? How can you not see that he's not going to show up? Saudi Zayn, yeah. Like, it's so obvious that he was going to be there in the main event. But another main event ending on a DQ is not exciting. It's not fun. It's the freaking World Heavyweight Championship. No. Yeah. This is actually hurting the crowd. Yes, you're announcing the Fatal 4-Way. You still could have had Braun and Bronson still could have lost this match anyway. They don't get buried if Punk or LA Knight beats them. Braun Breaker is being positioned to be a future main eventer, future world champion. Bronson Reed is the full-on like muscle of the group, the heavy hitter. Braun Breaker is the destroyer. Like, there's actually no negative to Braun and Bronson losing clean. And no, so basically, LA Knight just gets the return match from last week after being screwed, and CM Punk's getting he has his return match just because of losing the title at Clash. At SummerSlam to then get Clash. Jey Uso's the only one that doesn't make sense. He makes a save, doesn't mean he should be awarded a world title shot. He had nothing to do with that at SummerSlam. If anything, it should be Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed at Clash. I like some elements, but I just don't like the stupidity. And the biggest stupidity here, for me, Jay brings the cocaine. He says 20 words and then that's him. He's out of vocabulary. He's the dumbest world champion of all time. Ironically, there's no vision for this. This is just, we're going to give it to you and hope it sticks. And it's not good. I think Punk versus LA Knight versus Seth Rollins is enough. We don't need another Jey Uso world title screwjob. Jay brings Jada Parker. Is he snorting cocaine off her as well then? I don't know. I think they're miscalculating how far they can go with him, you know? I feel like they're miscalculating the situation. And I don't think they've got it in their minds about what to do. And this is my concern. My concern of... I actually wonder maybe if they're doing this Fatal 4-Way because they're not sure what they want to do in order of Seth Rollins' title reign. If that makes sense. Like, we've got the singles world title shot already, ends in a DQ. Now we're getting a triple threat as plans were. And then it's changed to a Fatal 4-Way. what is your end game? What is your... Like, you don't make a fatal four-way for the first pay-per-view title defense of your champion if you're not sure who the actual want to push your main challenger is. You know? Either you have like what they should have done is Uso versus Punk versus LA Knight, number one contender next week on Raw. And if you want to build to Clash as a multi-man main event, just get involved. It's not hard, but they just make it hard for themselves. You know? I don't think they know what they're doing. And I agree though with what Ailey said earlier on. It doesn't matter who's in the match. Seth Rollins is not losing in Clash in Paris. Braun and Bronson are going to get involved. And there's no disqualification in a fatal four-way. So it's coming. We'll see what happens. We'll see how they go about it. But I don't know. But what I do know is I agree. That it's time for the very end, and we can do a little end of the show Q&A, as we always do. I think he'll lose to Sami Zayn. Even though Braun should have his own thing. When the time's up, we'll get out here. Ask away, folks. Ask whatever you like. I'd rather neither. Same here, Ashton. Good question, Zodiac. I don't think so. What? I wouldn't mind if they win the tournament. Just as long as Lee Moriarty or Nigel McGuinness wins the Fatal 4-Way, because if Daniel Garcia or Hechicero ends up in that title match of Forbidden Door, I'll be disappointed. What do you think of Finley's tag match tomorrow being against Evil and Togo? That honestly, I think if you look at it in a realistic standpoint, that's them basically saying the end is near. The end is near for one of them, you know? If Nigel ends up in a title match, we know how that ends. Yeah, of course. It'll still be a good laugh, though. What's this? Something that Josiah sent me. Ooh. Okay. So Zilla, the man who barely shows up for certain events, Fatu. Says he isn't ready for WWE. Okay. Fair enough. I respect that. Still don't understand that bloody that channel, but yeah. Still way up in the 20 degrees weather for right now as well. It's a joke. (26 degrees) at 10 past 9 at night. Are you joking? What else have you got for me, folks? What does everybody want? Sleep. Yeah. What else have you got for me, folks? Don't worry if you don't have any further questions. Say we can wrap up on the 2.25 hour mark if you want. It's all good. Which is 3 minutes from now. More like find out yourself. I think so. What event is Cena Lesnar likely to happen? I think they'll save it for potentially SummerSlam. Not SummerSlam, Survivor Series. Anytime, Zodiac. I appreciate it. Survivor Series. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I think we will leave it at that, actually. You guys have been great. What's up, Lard Bark? It's good to see. We are about to get out here, but obviously it would be good to get you on the next one. But I suppose the main thing is you guys looking after yourselves, being a great support. Truly appreciate it. And I appreciate just you guys supporting the channel, and I thought it was quite funny. I've used myself on the thumbnail for a change. It's not often that I get to make myself the face of a thumbnail. Who should beat Seth Rollins? I think Braun Breaker should. But they're going to give it to Sami Zayn. So we're all screwed. Ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate it. We'll be back to... Are we back tomorrow? A late show, actually, because I'm busy. And yes, it'll need to be after 8 o'clock, though, because I've got things on like after work, like physio and shit. So if you're around after 8 o'clock tomorrow, absolutely, we can review the last block. But my friends, thank you for tuning in. Please do like, share, and subscribe. I will see you all tomorrow. Josiah will be with me. Thank you to Ailey for coming back on. If you want to come on more shows with us, absolutely feel free. But in the meantime, there's no better person to say goodbye than... Ooh, okay. My favorite Survivor Series elimination match. All right, I'll answer this and then I'll go. It's definitely Survivor Series 2001. And then before that, the $1 Million Team versus the Dream Team. But apart from that, that's the end of the line. Thank you very much for watching. And hit that subscribe button on the way out. And today, our time comes to an end. This has been another exciting stream. Thank you very much for watching. And also, remember, if you get cracked over the head with a steel chair, you're not going to get concussion. You're just going to come back here. Goodbye.
It's my life in the box in front of me.